Hey everybody, figured I'd do something a little different for this week's video and give you a tour of the game room that we have here. And it contains a lot of different artifacts and items that I've got in my video game collection. Now my wife is super awesome to be able to allow us to have all of this displayed and have this all presented in a way that we both like, and of course a majority of this is mine, so she's been really awesome with that. So why don't you go ahead and join me here, and I'll give you a grand tour of everything that we've got here. First part of the game room tour I wanted to feature is the north side of the wall, where I have all of my video game art featuring video games that have female-led heroines, or where they have a prominent portion of said video game. And starting off with the Super Metroid here, it's a really cool piece of art that was done by Retro Game Nerds. They have an Etsy shop, and of course is the pivotal scene with Samus fighting Mother Brain and shooting her hyper beam. And speaking of Super Metroid, you can see we have this art by Dave Rapoza, another sort of a movie theater type trailer poster. It's fantastic. He does an awesome job with his art. Next is a set of art by, her handle is DiceSMS. I have both Samus here as well as Rinoa from Final Fantasy VIII. Both of these pieces of art were done by DiceSMS. The next piece I have here is a poster done by Crystal Faye for Final Fantasy VI. This is my all-time favorite video game. Again, you all know this already if you've been watching any of my videos, since of course Final Fantasy is my favorite series. And then we have, moving down, we have both Lara Croft. This is from, I believe it's Stanley Gao or Rao. On the left here, this is from the Lara Croft Tomb Raider series. The reboot that was done by Eidos and formerly owned by Square Enix. And on the right is Makoto from Persona 5. This is done by artist Datcravat. And I'm going to move up to the right here, and we have Rinoa from Final Fantasy VIII, as well as Terra from Final Fantasy VI. Both of these pieces done by the super talented artist Justin Paul. And then finally, finishing this wall out, we have this piece of art that I actually specially commissioned, Drake Tsui, aka Quirkalicious, featuring 5 of some of our favorite video game heroines. I had my wife and I go half and half on this, and I picked Samus, Terra, and Makoto, and she picked Rinoa and Lara Croft, as Lara is her favorite video game heroine of all time. And we also have, right by one of my favorite real-life heroes, the namesake for the Inferno Fox channel, we have Fira, the Shiba Inu, and by Fira we have a small cabinet of various figures, including an Aerith one from the Square Enix store. We have a Zelda from First 4 Figures, and we have some Zelda amiibos, as well as a couple miscellaneous ones that are out of their box. And then finally, finishing with Makoto from Persona 5, and where Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses will go. Now, dedicated on the east side of the wall, we have various merchandise dedicated to some specific games. Going on the northeastern portion, I have the various Final Fantasy games, and from the top left is a Distant Worlds Final Fantasy shirt that I have framed, and love this series of concerts. As you can see, I have a compilation along with a ticket stub from the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy, as well as a picture with my wife and I and Nobu-san along with Arnie Roth. It's really awesome to be able to meet Nobu-san, the creator of all of the Final Fantasy music from the first 9 entries. And starting from the left, you can see the Uniqlo t-shirt that just released for the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy for both Final Fantasy X, 7, and 6. Now, I really like The design of these probably the best, especially the 10th design, as you can see. I felt that was really sharp. And then the 7th shirt is pretty cool. And then finally we of course have the 6th, and this one is okay. I'm not really so in love with this one, but of course I had to get it since it's my favorite all-time game. And speaking of which, we have the cartridge. Again, I'm a nerd, so I have to have a framed copy of the US cartridge depicting one of my favorite scenes in the game, when the Falcon is recovered and is soaring off into the sky from being submerged in the sea. I have the physical copy of the Japanese version of Final Fantasy VI that I just got this year, Too Many Games, a pin from Canvas Quest, and then scanning down, I have this awesome print of the Blitz Comics poster, and then this hilarious little thing printed, which is of course a shout out from, or a reference of the similar one from The Simpsons. I believe it's season 5, the Cape Fear episode, where Homer is terrorizing Bart because they're trying to escape from Sideshow Bob. Continuing my tour of Final Fantasy stuff, in my display cabinet I have some statues here. I have a Sephiroth from the Square Enix store. I have a couple of these smaller figures that are available from the store. I have a Titus and Squall back there as well. Those are the Dissidia. And then this, of course, is Locke, my favorite character from both Final Fantasy VI as well as all time. The statue, it was done by a 3D printer from my friends at the Phoenix, I believe it's Phoenix Foundries. Fantastic 3D modeler. And then I have this classic statue of Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, and a couple of Cloud amiibos in the back. Scanning down from the Phoenix Foundry, or Phoenix Down Foundry, I had them print me a Blue Falcon from the F-Zero series, because that series just doesn't get enough love, and I would have loved to have a statue of that. So there we are. I have Sans from Undertale, and I have a specially painted amiibo of Roy from Fire Emblem. I also have some Persona 5 merchandise. Of course, you see Joker with one of the masks from the Persona 5 Royal Special Edition, as well as one that I had from an extra set too. And I just have a couple other things, like a picture that I had printed from the artist Datcravat, as well as a copy of Persona 5 Royal on the PS4. And then finally, I have my Metroid section, where I have statues from first 4 figures. I have the Light Suit Samus, as well as the Various Suit Samus. Both of these are from Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, but the Various Suit Samus, this one, is probably my favorite statue that I have in my collection, just because the details and everything on this are so fantastic. And as you can see, they also light up. I love the details on these with the lights. It really accentuates a lot of the shoulder pad work. And then you can of course see I've got some of the Metroid amiibos and everything in the back, as well as copies of Metroid Prime 1 and Metroid Trilogy. Continuing the tour, I've got a couple of interesting pieces here. I have Samus's helmet that was just released this year, again from first 4 figures. And I also have a replica of a cat condo that, no, of course this is where our real cats jump on and look out the window for their little cat TV. And below this though, the reason why I have this is a nice display unit where I show off some of my Mario and Mega Man stuff. So for Mario, I've got the Mario and Yoshi statue. Love this one as well, probably my second favorite statue, because it perfectly depicts the happy-go-lucky nature of both Mario and Yoshi, along with some really cool pixel art, the Super Mario 35th anniversary pins on the left, and a cool background poster. And you can kind of see some amiibos in the background. And then of course we got Mega Man, 2 statues from first 4 figures, where one from the original series, I believe it's modeling after Mega Man 2 on the left, and then the one on the right from Mega Man 11, but again, perfectly encapsulates Mega Man overall and the fun action platformer that his games have. So in my second display cabinet, I've got some cool various Luigi merchandise here. A statue that I had to order from eBay of Luigi on a yellow Yoshi. This is pretty cool because this is from the Wii version of New Super Mario Brothers that released, I think, on 2008. But yellow is my favorite color, and of course Luigi's my favorite Nintendo character, so I did everything I could to snag that. We got a Luigi's Mansion statue from First Four Figures. We've got a bunch of Luigi as a racer from the Mario Kart series because you have to respect the L or you're going to get the shell. And below this, in the display cabinet, I have Link from Breath of the Wild along with the Hylian shield, both from First Four Figures. To the right, I have the R-Wing from Star Fox 64, again, First Four Figures, with a couple of Star Fox amiibo behind it. And below that, I have some additional Legend of Zelda merchandise. I've got a Dark Horse version of Link from Twilight Princess. You can kind of see it. I have some pixel art of Link from Link to the Past, a pin, again, from Canvas Quest. I have a couple of these Link figures from the World of Nintendo series. And to the right of that, I've got some Sonic figures, again, from First Four Figures. And below that, I have the 25th anniversary statue of Sonic, what I affectionately call Cake Sonic, along with some additional Sonic figures. I do wish this statue was not so thick. I'm going to put my hand up for comparison. Now, of course, I don't have the largest hands, but it is pretty thick here. But it's a great statue. I'm glad that I got it. And then I have a very happy Kirby on his star. And I'm not the biggest Kirby fan, but I just love the look here of Kirby as he's soaring through the clouds. So on this side of the wall, the south side, is where I have my own work setup. And this is where I have both either my own laptop or my work laptop so that I can do my standard 8 to 5 job as well as do my content creation that you see. And again, scanning back up here, I have some art featuring one of my favorite game series, which is of course Super Smash Brothers. And up at the top, I have a printout of the banner that was released by Nintendo. The art itself was not a physical copy. I had this printed, and this contains all of the additional DLC characters up to and including Sora. And then I have additional art here, including when Cloud was announced in 2015 for Smash Wii U. And that, of course, was such an awesome day since Cloud was one of my most wished for characters that I never thought I'd get in the game. And they, of course, really played up the Link versus Cloud quote-unquote rivalry. Then I have an art piece of the original 12 Smash characters from, I believe it was Andrew Heath. And I just took some cool screenshots featuring my best 6 characters that I had printed and just put up because I just thought it was pretty cool. And then I have another piece of art from Drake Tsui, aka Corkalicious, of all of the Smash Brothers characters, again updated to include all of the newest ones from DLC announced. And speaking of which, I have from the last DLC character announced, Sora. This last screen that was captured in the full motion video, this is cool essentially because it's Disney shaking hands with Nintendo, and I just thought that was pretty neat. And I have hanging up a copy of my Switch Smash Brothers as well as a GameCube one. And then I have my Mortal Kombat 2 arcade 1-up cabinet along with some PS4 and 5 games. And of course I got this because Mortal Kombat 2 was a game that I used to play in the arcades with my brother. And then I have a couple Scorpion statues. I have one statue from Sideshow as well as a figure that I got from Etsy. On the west side of the wall, I have some pins that I got from the Nintendo Store via Penny Arcade. For whatever reason, I missed out on Super Mario Sunshine. I think I just forgot that one, which, you know, don't blame myself because that's a pretty forgettable entry. I have a closet that is just full of crap, so you're not going to see that. Eventually, my wife and I are going to be removing these doors and putting everything in there in storage. And because my wife is awesome, she suggested to put this arcade unit as well as one or two others that I would like to get in here to not only allow for more displaying and more room for the game room, but also to get another display case in this arcade cabinet's place. And speaking of how awesome she is, I got her a couple statues and I put up a number of items of hers. You can see a Crash Bandicoot and Spyro pictures along with Nathan Drake, and the Tomb Raider statue that we have here. This is pretty cool. Besides being like super, we'll say, voluptuous, it's still a pretty cool piece because that, of course, is how Lara Croft looked in the PlayStation series. Moving down on this cabinet here, we have some of these Spyro statues, as well as a cool art book that I felt fit the motif well, along with some gems, and a small Spyro statue. All of these statues are, again, first four figures. The next set of statues all just barely fit. Again, they're all first four figures from left to right. Again, they're can clearly see that they're Spyro, but I believe the first two on the left are from Spyro 1, and the one on the right is from Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. And then I have some Switch games. Not a bad collection, doing pretty good, and of course expanding monthly. And then I have some really cool video game art and encyclopedia books. I'm hoping that Pat Contry can release a Nintendo 64 book and maybe even a Game Boy one, but you know, he's busy doing his unnecessary podcast. That's literally what he calls it. You've got the guide for Japanese role-playing games here by Bitmap Books. These are awesome. Some of the Final Fantasy Ultimania guides translated into English, along with a pixel book. A set of the Nintendo and Super Nintendo books that Nintendo authorized when they released their Nintendo and Super Nintendo mini units. And then Super Mario Encyclopedia, you got the Dark Horse Zelda books, Mega Man art book, Sonic Encyclopedia, Kingdom Hearts Ultimania, a Dragon Quest art book. I really wish that they would translate the encyclopedia from, I think it was the 25th anniversary, or just create a 35th anniversary one, but Dragon Quest is really big in Japan, not so much here in the States. I have an Ys art book. It only goes from Ys 0 through 7. Again, I'd like an updated copy, but probably won't happen. And a cool art of Uncharted book for the first 3 games. So I hope you enjoyed my brief tour of my game room here, and of course, everything that you see is pending. It's all subject to change, as well as my tastes and everything like that change, and as we are constantly making updates. Thanks for joining in, and feel free to like and subscribe for more content, and I hope to see you again soon, and have a great day.